Hey guys, Mrs. Dukoski here. So this is a quick tutorial about MLA citations. These are the things that you're going to need to put in your final exam essay at the end of sentences where you've taken evidence from your articles. So there's 4 different articles, 2 for online learning, 2 for climate change. So depending on which topic you chose, there's going to be different citations, and depending on which article you're referencing, there's going to be different citations. So that's what this video is about. And yes, you need them. You need them if you're directly quoting, and you need them if you're just referencing details that you found in those articles that aren't from the top of your head. So you would still say you reference some fact about climate change, but you don't directly quote it. At the end of that sentence, you still need your citation, and it just comes right before the period. So remember, the period goes outside of the citation, and the citation is now part of your sentence. So that's what we're talking about today, because there are always a few errors out there with our citation. So I'm going to do a screen share. We're going to go into, we're going to go into Schoology. So here we go. I'm sharing my screen with you. So I'm going into Schoology right now. Get this out of the way. Here's Schoology, and I've created a final exam tips folder. So that's above these assignments that you have to do that are reading the articles. So again, here's the second topic, climate change articles with the questions to go with it. Here's the first topic, online learning, with the questions to go with it. You need to do that. That's part of prepping for your final. This is going to be in the tips folder. So some of you have questions about how to do certain things, such as create citations. So this is a create citations video. So there's this nice link here, help with citations. It's from Purdue OWL. It's one of the best writing lab sources. So I would recommend, if making citations is challenging, review this. We'll look at it too. But in order to create citations, you just need to know a couple of facts. And one is that you start with the author, if there is one. So here's the Purdue OWL site. And again, in-text citations, just the basics. We don't need to get fancy here. So you could always pop in your website, if you had a website, and it would give you the citation, what it should look like. But we kind of have these articles that we're using, so we'll stick with that. So the basic citation rules is that first, in parentheses, we're going to use an author. So if we have an author, the author's name goes in parentheses. So here, I'll make it bigger for you. Come on. Here's the example they give. This is a quote from a poet named William Wordsworth. So they put Wordsworth, that's his last name, and the page, it's a poem that the poem is on. Notice there's a space between Wordsworth and the page number. There's no word page, there's no number sign, it's just a space and then the page number and parentheses, and again, the period goes outside of the parentheses. So we have the direct quote, and this is a nice example because they have the quote embedded, so it's not one of those quote bombs. So they've introduced the quote. Romantic poetry is characterized by the quote, spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. And then they pull the period, so there's no period after feelings, because now the period goes outside of the citation. So we need to know that this citation was from this book of poems by William Wordsworth. So we take his last name, pop his last name in, space, and the page number it came from. So I want to show you this first example though. Some of you might be scratching your head and saying, why in that first example is there just a page number? Well, let's talk about that. In this, they embed the quote. Embedding means like introducing and making it flow nicely in your sentence, which we've been talking about. So you don't have those quote bombs, those drop quotes where you're just dropping a quote in. So you have Wordsworth, they're giving you the author in the sentence, stated that romantic poetry was marked by a spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. So since we have the author's name in the sentence, it would be redundant to put it in the citation. So I have it here. I don't need it here. Second example, I don't have his name in the sentence, So I need it in the citation. See the difference? So again, this one, because his name is in the sentence, I just need the page number at the end. All right, technically MLA does not want you to put the page number in the sentence. All right, so please don't do that. Save the page number for the end, and your choice as the writer, do you want to name the author in the sentence, like example 1 here, or do you want to save it for the end and put it in the citation with the page number? All right, so either way, and this last example is nice because they're not using a direct quote, so we don't have the direct quote, but it's still information that needs to be cited because we found it from this page by this author. So this is just paraphrasing. Wordsworth extensively explored the role of emotion in the creative process. So I got that information from this page by this author, William Wordsworth. And since again, I mentioned his name in the sentence, I don't need it here. But it is information that's not mine, even though it's not a direct quote, it's not my information. So I do need to credit my source. So that's really like basic 101, how I do my citation. Now, I just want to talk quickly because 3 of our 4 articles for the final have single authors. So we're going to do it just like this. We'll use their last name and whatever page number the information is coming from. But one of the articles has 2 authors. We saw this on the midterm as well. So I'm going to scroll to multiple authors. Okay, author page citation with multiple authors. So that's not what I want. Where is it? Here we go. Citing a work by multiple authors. That's what I want. So here I've got this 2 author source. That's what we have. All right, so we have an article, one of the climate change articles has 2 authors. I'll show it to you in a minute. So we need to, for that article, use both authors' last names. The other articles just have single authors, so you're just going to use the one author's last name and the page number. But that climate change article with 2 authors, we need to do it this way. So this is the example that Purdue OWL gives. They have, these are the authors, Best and Marcus, for this citation that they're giving as an example. So they have to mention both authors, and notice, and this is where, you know, it was something that was a sticking point on the midterm, you need to list the authors alphabetically. So since Best, B, comes before M, Marcus, you need to put that author first. So we'll look at the one in climate change so we can determine which one's going to go first. But again, since here they mention the authors in the sentence, at the end of the sentence, the citation just needs the page number in parentheses. Now here, the second example, they give the direct quotes and they just say the author's claim. So I now need to put their last names in the citation. So that's where we have Best, the word and, Marcus, space, and the page it's coming from. So notice again, the Best is first because it's alphabetical. B comes before M. And Marcus is second, but I do need both of their names in my citation. And then again, we pull the period out and we put it at the end because the citation is part of your sentence. And again, this is nice because it's not a quote bomb. It gives me a nice little introduction here. It's called the speaker tag before I get my direct quote. All right, so that's nicely done. Those are some really good examples. And this link is in the final exam tips folder if you want to look at it more carefully. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to go to our Schoology page and look at the final exam articles so we can see what last names we're working with. So here I am. So again, this nice little resource, the basics for citations, is in the tips folder. I want to look at, let's do climate change first because that's the one where there's 2 authors. So here's my climate change articles. There's 2 of them. If I'm choosing climate change for my final exam topic, I'm using these articles. So I'm going to have to pull quotes from these sources in my essay. So here we go. Here's the first one. What is global warming? Explained. And this is from a Nat Geo magazine article by Christina Nunes. All right, Christina Nunes is our author. So Nunez is going to go, that's her last name, in parentheses with whichever page, and the pages are up here. See them? See, here's the page. Whichever page you're pulling it off of. So if it came off of this first page, it would be Nunez space 1. All right, that would be my citation. She's, I think, the first 3 pages are the Nunez article. Then we get to page 4. Oh, this is where we have those 2 sneaky authors, right? So both Alina Bradford and Stephanie Pappas wrote this article from Live Science called Effects of Global Warming. So we need to use both Bradford and Pappas in our citation. So I'm going to write the word Bradford, the word and, I don't mean first names, Pappas, and whatever page it's coming off of. So this is page 4. It's the last, set of pages here. It's kind of a long one. So I'm going to pull both their last names, put them in citations with my page number. So again, don't be tricked by that. That's the only one with a double author. Again, it's the second article from the climate change article that you have. And I'm going to use Bradford first because that's alphabetically comes first, the B, and Pappas second, and the word and in between with whatever the page number is. So that's the citation for this global warming, effects of global warming article. All right, let's get out of there. If you're confused by that, please reach out to me, especially if you're going to write about climate change, because that's the double author article. The other topic is online learning. Let's see what those citations are going to look like. So I've got online learning. These are just single authors. First article, I'm guessing, again, my hunch is that most of you are going to choose this topic. Not that you have to. You can go write about climate change for 5 full paragraphs and have fun. But I think a lot of you are going to find this one pretty relatable right now. So this first article is called Students Who Struggle Will Likely Struggle More Online by Susanna Loeb. So Loeb is the author. She's going to go in parentheses, that last name, Loeb, and whatever page number it's coming from. Okay. And then that's the first 2.5 pages. Page 3 starts Advantages and Disadvantages of Online Learning. This is by Pat Bowden. So again, single author. Bowden goes in parentheses, whatever page it's coming off of. All right, this is just some nice bullet points. These are pretty easy to read. All right, the climate change articles are a little more dense. All right, so with that said, if you choose online learning, these are your article choices. And again, you're going to use the author's last name. There's just single authors for each article and whatever page it's coming off of in your parentheses. All right, so that is your lesson for the day. How to do citations and looking at our articles to find those authors' last names. And again, in the tips folder, if you want a little more about creating citations, there's this nice link from Purdue OWL. So I'm going to stop my share right now. All right, so that's how you're going to make your citations for your final exam. I'll do some other little mini lesson videos, one about quotes, which we got into a bit in these examples, how to embed them, how to punctuate them. That's come up a few times. People have asked me for a video about that. So I'll do one about your quotations and your evidence in the next series here. But that's how you cite it. Let me know if you have questions because you have to cite your evidence on the final. Okay, bye. See you later.